Hi, this is Beth.
Hey, and this is Diz.
And this is...
Trigger warning.
And we're back.
Hey guys, welcome back.
We're back and we're better than ever.
We're so much better.
That was good. I think it's Diz's turn.
It is my turn, and I have a little story to share.
What's she talking about today? What's the category and the topic?
The category, disaster.
Disaster?
It's a natural disaster.
Oh, no.
So it is about the Galveston hurricane of 1900.
Oh, I remember that.
Like it was yesterday.
Like it was yesterday.
So I do have a couple of trigger warnings because it's a disaster.
And they have bad things happen.
Death.
Yeah.
We don't really talk a lot about it, but
people usually die during those things.
Little peoples, children peoples,
oh, no.
Because it's people.
Animal peoples.
Everything.
Yeah.
And some injuries, which it's hardly I talk about it, but I do say something about it, and it's kind of serious.
Yeah.
You'll find out.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about the Galveston hurricane of 1900.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to Galveston, Texas. Now, it is a 29-mile-long strip of land. It's about 2 miles off the coast of Texas.
That's actually kind of far.
It's like an island. It's a little island that's part of Texas.
2 miles seems really far.
But it's not.
I like it when I can see...
Well, you can't walk it when it's low tide.
That's true.
Sorry, guys. I hope you saw listen to our previous episode.
Yeah, the previous...
You'll get it if you
Battery Point Lighthouse. Just
you don't understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, it's like 2 miles off the coast.
Okay.
At the time, the population's 37,789 people.
That's very specific.
Yeah. And it's quite a few people for 1900, because I feel like there's like 8 people in the world at that time.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
I don't know why. Anyway, so Galveston at this time is very, very successful city. It's thriving. They have a huge commercial shipping port there, so they'd be making all the monies. 60% of the state's cotton crops were exported through that port.
For the 8 people in the world.
For the 8 people. I don't know how they bought so much cotton, but they did.
Well clothed.
Also, it's beautiful because this is Texas. It's down south.
The Gulf of Mexico's down there, and it's gorgeous.
Yes. And so beaches are beautiful, and it kind of becomes like a resort area at the same time. So everybody wants to go there. It is so successful and beautiful and amazing that it becomes known as the Wall Street of the South.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right?
That's cool.
So it's like serious. They said that it had more millionaires on the island per capita than any other city in the entire United States at the time.
Dang. Wow.
Millionaires in 1900.
Wow.
And that's even like with everyone up in New York, like the Rockefellers.
The actual Wall Street and stuff,
And
then, of course, this was before the Great Depressions, too, so...
Yeah.
That's impressive, though.
So, a little bit about that. So now we're going to start talking about what we came here for.
Oh, no.
The hurricane. The word hurricane comes from the word hurricane. I don't know if that's how you say it. It's the name of the Carib god of evil, which the Carib people were, it's kind of like in the Caribbean. It's not just Caribbean. There's a lot more to it, but I'm just going to down to that.
Yeah.
It's after their god of evil, which makes sense because hurricanes.
Yeah, because they get walloped by hurricanes a lot, so it makes sense that they would do that.
Now, the Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th. The peak part of it is mid-August to mid-October, and the busiest month is September. So on Friday, September 7th, 1900, the city of Galveston is put under a storm warning. The next day, on September 8th, an article on page 3 of the Daily News told about a tropical hurricane that was in the Gulf of Mexico. Not a tropical storm, not a tropical hurricane, whatever that meant back in 1900.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know if that would be like below a hurricane,
or if that was just about in the Gulf of Mexico. Okay,
uh-huh.
This is page 3. The storm was first observed on August 30th in the Lesser Antilles Islands, which is over it's in the Caribbean, near Cuba and like down in there, down yonder
way.
So the Galvestonians become aware of the storm on September 4th.
Okay.
Because it's a hurricane at this point, and it turns north towards Cuba, which is kind of their direction. Okay. So it's been going on for a few days. So then, 4 days later, on the 8th, the tides begin to slowly come farther inland.
Okay.
Not excessive, but it's noticeable.
Because hurricanes are freaking huge, man.
The primary officer of the Weather Bureau, which ends up becoming the National Weather Service, but it's called the Weather Bureau. His name is Isaac Klein. He goes around to the lowest areas of Galveston at the time on his horse-drawn cart.
Oh my gosh.
And tells people to evacuate. Now, not many people leave, and the storm hits. Of course, the houses closest to the beach fall first. They're the ones that get walloped really hard.
Of course.
Debris from like one row of buildings of the houses and stuff would be lifted up and hurled around and hit the next row. And then that would be lifted up and hurled around and hit
the next.
Like
dominoes.
People who had not left but were trying to find safety were struck by flying bricks and lumber. We're going to talk about an injury. Some were even decapitated by slates that were flying off the roofs.
Oh, yeah. They just basically like guillotines almost.
Yeah. The anemometer, which is what measures like wind speed velocity, registered a continuous velocity of 84 miles an hour for 5-minute period. And then at 5:15 p.m., it blows away.
The anemometer itself?
The anemometer itself blew away. They had recorded gusts of up to 100 miles per hour before it blew away, but the last continuous reading was 84 miles an hour.
Wow.
Later on, another weatherman, which is kind of what they called them, estimated that the wind speed was like 120 miles an hour.
Dang.
Okay.
Continuous?
Yes, I'm guessing. That's just all they really said. So now they consider it a Category 4 because they don't really know how strong the winds were. But at least for today, a Category 4 is 130 to 156 mile per hour winds.
Right. Okay. I was going to ask if we knew how strong it was considered.
Yes. So they
by
say
today's
Category
standards
4,
anyway. Yeah.
Even though technically
they guessed
120, and even that's not what we would consider it, but it was devastating. So at 6:30 p.m. on the 8th, a 15 to 16 foot storm surge hits the city.
Oh, jeez.
The waves batter buildings, tears them to pieces.
Anything left standing from the winds and stuff before, I guess, are already like...
Right.
Yeah. Are now going to get torn down by storm surge.
You guys have to go to the source that are in the show notes and look at some of these pictures. It is unreal. So, they have a high water mark of 15.7 feet that was observed after the storm. So that's as high as the water got. 15.7 feet. The city was underwater. I don't know if I put this in here, but I remember. So the city is only 9 feet above sea level.
I was going to say, yeah. Coastal areas are not...
9 feet.
I mean, they're coastal.
That's exactly right. So
that's why Katrina devastated New Orleans so bad.
Yes. Yeah. All right, so around 10 p.m. that night, the tide begins to slowly fall back. It's still high, but it starts to recede a little bit. All right, so that's kind of the end of the storm itself and then the horrible damage and everything. Now we're going to actually talk about the deaths and the damage itself.
Okay.
In Galveston, they estimate anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 people died.
Oh, man.
And then on the
entire
out of
37,000 people?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's
like
insane.
A 6, right? 6, 36. Ish. Yes. For the entire island, not just like Galveston proper, I guess.
Right.
They estimated anywhere from 10 to 12,000 people total died.
That's like a third of the whole.
Yes. The property damage in 1900 would have been anywhere from 20 to 30 million, which today is between 964 million to 1.1 billion.
Oh my gosh.
And that is a rough estimate. They don't really know for sure.
Yeah, there's no way to know.
2,636 houses were destroyed. They had 16 ships that were anchored in their harbor that sustained extensive damages.
Mm-hmm.
And then their shoreline itself, 300 feet or 1,500 acres of shoreline were just destroyed by the waves and the wind.
Wow.
The path of the storm, so it goes over Cuba like on the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
It hits Texas, Galveston on the 8th. And it was like a direct hit onto Galveston. That's why it was so bad. It was like
direct,
right in the middle of it. Then it moves up into Oklahoma, to Kansas, to the Great Lakes area, into Canada, and then passes north of Halifax, Nova Scotia on the 12th.
Wow.
And then it goes out into like the northern Atlantic up, and I guess it's finally so cold it can't do anything else because there's nothing warm to feed it anymore.
Wow.
And I don't know about the damage along its path. I didn't even
get into depending on how much cold air it hit, and it couldn't, like it wasn't pulling any hot.
And this is September,
water
so
from the.
Like it might have been. It's hot down south, but
it may have done some flooding and stuff up through like Kansas and Oklahoma
wind,
or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, and wind. Yeah.
Probably. Possibly.
Plains. Yeah. Oklahoma and Kansas are just like we just make tornadoes because that's what we do.
Right. That's how we do it out here.
Somebody sneezes and it's like, well, good, there's a tornado.
We're
now.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after that, it probably was just like, okay, no more because there's nothing
feeding
more
sneezing.
The heat. No more sneezing. Yeah.
No more sneezing, guys. Yeah, no, there's probably nothing else to feed it the warmth.
Yeah.
And so it's just cold and then it just kind of goes away. But that was a long path. I was very surprised at how far the storm and all the bad weather went.
Because usually, and we're used to them coming up like from Florida and coming up the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then we get some rain and wind, and then they kind of fade out once they get up into New England, and they kind of just kind of peter out.
Yeah.
And that's it. But to come all the way up through the Midwest, that's a very westerly storm.
Yeah.
And then to go up north and cross over Canada and actually be able to track up to Halifax. That's crazy.
That's really far north.
Yeah.
That's
to actually still be recognizable as a storm at that point.
Yeah.
And not have faded and for the pattern to still be recognizable as a storm.
Right, it's crazy. I couldn't believe it.
That's
I
wild.
was just dumbfounded. All right, so let's talk about the aftermath of what happens to Galveston. So, when people get up the next morning, those that are left,
those that are in a house.
About 2/3 of the city was destroyed. We know around 6,000 to 8,000 people have died.
What do you do with all the bodies?
You got to do something with the bodies.
Oh, is that where you were going?
Exactly what I was saying.
Oh my gosh.
So first they tried to bury them at sea, which I thought was kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah,
but they couldn't do that because the corpses started drifting back onto shore.
Yeah.
I don't know how
you'd have to take them out pretty far to keep them from the currents from bringing them back to the
it's 1900.
land.
They end up just piling them in piles and burning the bodies.
Yeah, I guess they didn't really have a choice.
And they had to burn bodies for several weeks to get everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, when you have a massive event like that in that time, there was just nothing else you could do.
There really wasn't. And
they just didn't have the equipment and refrigeration and stuff like we have now to handle stuff like that.
And I mean, just whole families were wiped out.
Oh, I know.
Like whole families, blocks. It's just crazy, you know.
I mean, the whole city was almost wiped out.
Really? Well, everything was flooded.
Yeah.
Everything is
Even if they had places they could have stored people's bodies and stuff, the places were gone.
Yeah. There was no
And then the island was 2 miles out from the mainland,
especially when you see the pictures.
Then you had all these boats that were damaged. It's like, we don't have any boats that can get the bodies to the mainland to get them somewhere. And I'm sure the mainland took damage too.
Well, right. It's not like it was just like hitting this island.
Right.
Because it literally goes up through the U.S.
Although I'm sure that the island probably took the brunt of it and protected the mainland a little bit.
Well, and especially, yeah. I think it probably did. Well, it's only going to do so much, though. It clearly didn't slow it down that much.
Right. Well.
So Galveston they're devastated, okay? But it's some hardcore people, because within the first few weeks after the storm, they restore the telegraph services, the water services, the saloons, because priorities.
Yeah.
The trolley service, the harbor freight services, and the telephone lines were being laid back to however they did it then.
Wow.
So they're thinking, okay, we've got this. How are we going to not let this happen again? What can we do? So they decided we're going to build a seawall. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing they do.
The problem is, if you build a seawall and the water comes over it, then it's just stuck there.
Agreed, but it has worked.
Yeah.
So they do. The first segment they build is just over 3 miles long, 5 feet wide, depth, and 17 feet high.
Wow. Okay.
It gets completed.
That makes sense if the storm surge was 15 feet.
Right.
Because they figure if that was that bad, then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they completed it July 29th of 1904.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
They were like, let's get this done.
So they're like, fingers crossed that this thing helps. Mm-hmm. Well, it gets tested in 1909 and in 1915.
Wow.
And it's successful in lowering the number of deaths and the amount of damage.
Dang.
So that's fantastic. Over the years, additional segments have been built. They built another segment in 1905, a really small one in 1927, because I think that was around the time of the Depression. Mm-hmm. And then from 1963 to the present, they have continued to add, and now it's a little over 10 miles long.
Wow.
It is the longest continuous sidewalk in the U.S.
Really?
People will travel there to see it, and they did then.
They can walk along the top of the
seawall.
And
it's like there's a picture of it, and it really just looks like a boardwalk when you just look at it. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
All right, so they're like, yay, we built a seawall, and it's helped us out. And then, like, what else can we do? Like, okay, let's raise the level of the grade of the land that everything's sitting on. Let's do that.
Right.
So from 1905 to 1911, they do this.
So they just start adding sand and stuff?
I will tell you.
Okay. You're going to tell me. I'll shut up.
That's okay. They do this in quarter-mile square sections of the city. They enclose each quarter-mile section in a dike. They lift every structure and utility service, so like streetcar tracks, fire plugs, and water pipes, and like any buildings that are there. They lift them. Then they also would they ended up raising like 2,000 buildings with hand-turned jack screws.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. It's amazing what they did. So what they did was they would raise everything, and then they would use sand fill, which was basically like wet sand.
Yeah.
They would get it from the Galveston harbor. They would dredge it, and it would come through a canal that was 20 feet deep, 200 feet wide, and 2.5 miles long into the residential area. Mm-hmm. And then they would literally just fill it with wet sand, and there's pictures of this. And then once that was like discharged and they had the sand fill is what they called it, in that area, they would start building a new foundation on top of it. And then the buildings. Or the track. Or the whatever it was. So, successful. The seawall and raising the height of the land, essentially, worked. And people came in droves back to Galveston.
Wow.
For one, they wanted to see a seawall.
Yeah.
And two, it was beautiful still.
Right.
And so
they
tourism
were like, well,
came
it's
back,
safe again, so we can go back now.
And they've recovered. I don't know if they're as rich as they were. You know?
Yeah.
But it was okay.
Yeah.
Like
it's a good thing that they were as rich as they were before it happened, or they wouldn't have had the money and stuff
it's
to do that, I guess.
They were talking about what they were doing, and even now, like, people marvel, like, engineers and stuff marvel at what they were able to do.
Yeah, in 1904.
Too, like, with...
Yeah.
That's huge. Like,
part of it, I think, is because at that time, it was like, we should do this, and people are like, okay, and a committee says, okay, let's do it. Allocate the funds, boom, done, let's start.
They actually did, like, civic committees or whatever, and that's how they got it done.
And it's like, instead of going through, like, 3 years of different committees and different...
tape and all that.
And Congress and state laws and legislatures, and it probably, like, instead of having to, like, at that time, they probably didn't have to deal with, like, environmental regulations and stuff like that. Because now, if you were dredging out part of the bay and things like that, there would be other concerns that people would have, and and I get why, because that kind of stuff changes the environment.
Well, in our machines,
but that's why they were able to get to it so quickly, is because there wasn't that kind of stuff that they had to worry about at the time.
So people still come to see the seawall today and walk on it.
That's
people
neat.
Bike on it.
I had no idea that was down there.
I had no idea either. I had no idea. I'd never heard of it, of the seawall. So anyway, the Galveston hurricane, that storm was referred to as the Great Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurricane, the Great Storm, remains the deadliest natural disaster in the U.S.
Really?
Even to this day.
Even after Katrina?
Yes, Katrina was the costliest.
Okay.
People always ask that, and it specifically said this was the deadliest, Katrina was the costliest.
Okay.
Because I was like, Katrina was awful, but that was...
I'm sure Katrina
was... A lot of Katrina was
awful. As far as... Katrina was probably the next deadliest, maybe, even.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I have a list.
I mean, we also have we knew way ahead of time what, the track is, or we could guess, we have better guesstimations of what the hurricane tracking is going to be. Well, with
Katrina, the aftermath, the living conditions were so horrendous.
Yeah.
It makes it
because the flooding, the water just stood there and didn't have anywhere to drain to.
The dome center, it was awful. I've seen it was horrible. I feel so bad for those people.
I know.
But that is all I have about the Galveston hurricane.
That's a lot. Anyway,
it was a lot.
That's it is amazing though what they could put together in a time where we're thinking, oh, but they didn't have anything back then.
They were so old.
They were industrious though. They were like they wanted to do something. They just just got to it.
And they did it because they had to. What else are they going to do? They lived, that was their home.
Yeah. It's either we abandon this island and just stop using it.
Yeah.
Or we do these things to fix the problem.
And they just did it.
And if they hadn't, they'd have been wiped out twice more.
Yeah.
And what were the odds? Because, we don't see hurricanes hitting that part of Texas.
Yeah.
But then they had 3 within, a decade?
Yeah. 1900, a decade and a half. 1915 was the third one.
Yeah. What are the odds of that?
For them, back then, very good. Very
Apparently.
high. Yeah.
Because now they're all, Florida.
We have the Atlantic. But it's like when the Gulf gets it, they get hit hard, though.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
I guess because it has even further to...
Because the water stays so warm down there.
Yeah.
At least on the Atlantic on our side, eventually it's going to get cooler water.
Yeah,
even
as
if
it goes
it's not
north
cold.
a little bit, it cools off as it goes up. And the Gulf, it's had even more room to continue to power up.
Yeah. Power up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Mario.
Yeah. It hit a mushroom and got bigger.
Yeah. And I don't think they started naming the hurricanes until like the 50s, but I can't remember what I read, so I could be wrong with that.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think first it was just the years that they...
Yeah, it was the hurricane of 19...
Yeah, and it was whatever mass, like whatever the eye hit or wherever the main
like
landfall was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the one that when I talked about the flooding in 1985...
Yeah.
That hurricane kind of swung through the Gulf, and the outer edges of it hit Texas.
That's huge.
But it didn't do a lot of damage to Texas because it was just the outside, like
the fringes.
Wind and the some waves and stuff like that. But it didn't hit it hard. Big deal. So it was just like the outside ring of it hit, and then it kind of swung back around, like it rotated back to hit Florida and come up.
It probably was like, give us that warm water and air. Okay, thank you. And then it was
and that was like, well, I'm gonna go up here and just dump a bunch of rain.
And just sit here and stare at them for a while.
Yeah, but then I just can't believe it. It blows my mind. It's blowing my mind that they had 3 in a row.
I know.
Within 15 years.
That's a lot. And now I didn't look to see if it was like Category 4 both times or anything
the way that they were judging them at that time was different too. The way that they categorized them at the time was different. So there's no way to know. Even if they called it a Category 4, it could have been what we would call a 3 today.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how they judged them,
or
if they just said
really did,
or if they just said how fast the winds were, and they didn't have a category system.
Anemometer didn't blow off.
Like, it was a real bad one. That's what they sounded like.
That's exactly what they sounded
like.
That's
what that Isaac Klein, he sounded like that. He's like, that was a bad one.
So he ended up writing like a report about it because he was like the main weatherman at the time. But they talk about how he lost his whole family.
Oh no.
So when he was writing this, like, he was most likely still in shock.
Uh-huh.
But he was writing his report about, like, how things were before it happened. And one thing he was talking about was the normal indicators that they would get of, like, the color of the sky and all this stuff were not present like they expected.
Yeah.
So he was out, like, looking, and then there was a guy that was, like, the night shift, and everything was normal. And then he came the next day and he was looking and everything still looked normal. The sky wasn't like whatever color he said it was.
I guess the only way that they could really tell is people out on ships could, like, they would come in and say there's a storm and it's heading this direction.
But the problem was if the storm was right then, they couldn't make it in. Because
and it's like if it shifted a different way, then there was no way to know that.
The storm was first seen like on August 30th. But ships over there couldn't get anywhere to let anyone else know.
Yeah.
In time.
Yeah, so, or they could see it and they're like, oh, it's heading north. It's not going to hit you. And then it shifts west.
Right.
And it's too late because then they've already told you it's going north. You don't know it's coming.
Yeah.
Unless another ship sees it, but then they can't outrun it necessarily.
It's like we have satellites
It's like the storm is 100 miles wide. There's no way that they can get past it.
Right. And so they had things that they could do to look, and the pressure change and stuff. But even that
and then when the tides started coming in further and
pressure
stuff,
like it normally did.
Yeah. And is that why that people didn't evacuate because the other signs weren't there? Yeah.
What do they know? They don't know.
Yeah.
Like they're like whatever. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't see any storm. There's not a cloud in the sky.
Who live there, it's like if they've had. Like most people, if they've had, like, false alarms before, then they're like, I'm not going to shut down my store and miss out on income. They didn't have the actual signs that they would normally expect to see.
Right.
So even though he went out the day before being like, hey, if you live in this area, you need to, like, move up to higher ground, wherever that would be.
Yeah. Move inland.
They were just like, whatever.
Yeah. It's like, no, the waves are the same. The sky's not changing colors. There's no
it's beautiful
signs. Here. Birds aren't flying in. There's not, or whatever it is they look for.
Birds aren't flying upside down.
I haven't seen a bunch of starfish on the beach or whatever signs are that they would look for.
Right.
Because I'm sure there are actual things like that. Even now, people who live on the beach probably notice little things like that when there's a storm off the coast that you wouldn't even think about. But, they're like, oh, I noticed when there's a storm, the seagulls start doing whatever.
But we live in the mountains, so we notice different things.
Yeah.
For the mountains, for like, even if it's just like a rainstorm, like thunderstorm.
Yeah.
The leaves turn a different way. And...
Or there's actually a stillness. There is an actual literal calm before a storm sometimes.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, or like the green skies when there's a tornado.
Well, and I think for the hurricane, I think
Midwest.
It was kind of a yellowish color is what the sky turns. And it was like, he did not observe it, blah, blah, blah. And however they talked back in 1900.
Yeah. Which is really fancy talk.
So
even
fancy.
People who were barely literate still spoke like they were like fancy talkers.
Yeah. It was, because I was
not
like,
like me.
This. It's too fancy.
Too fancy. I don't know how to talk like that.
They actually had his actual report that he wrote. And I was like, well, this is... And I was like, I don't know what he's saying.
How could he...
It's too much extra.
And it's sad, too, because his family had died.
Yeah, it was. And so his house was, like, destroyed, and his family was gone. I don't know how many family members he had or anything. Like, if he had children and a wife and multiple kids or whatever, but it said his family was gone.
So they didn't evacuate either.
Apparently not, which I found kind of strange.
Man, that's sad.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing us the story of the Galveston hurricane.
Well, you're welcome.
Hurricane.
Thanks for listening. The god of evil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm going to start calling them now.
Now
they name them names, though. I'll be like, oh, it's the goddess of evil. Irene's coming.
Irene, the goddess of evil.
Or whatever the name of it
Yeah, and they were talking about how, they go in alphabetical order, and if there's one that's, like, especially horrible or whatever, they'll retire it, and the next...
Like Katrina will never come again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's, like, 3 letters that they don't use, like Q, U, and Z, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, because there's not that many.
Q, U, X, and Z. I don't remember.
X, I'm sure. Yeah, Xerxes is, like, the only one that could
Xavier
and Xerxes are the only X's that they could do. They could be like, there's Zeke. Zachariah. I don't know how many girl names there are with a Z.
I know someone who has a Z name.
They could probably come up with a couple things, but...
Anyway. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think.
Yeah. Watch out for yellow skies and...
Watch out for a deer.